Hey there YouTube, ImmortalxReaper here. Another little featurette of mine, doing a preview for MechWarrior Online. And the reason I say preview, and some people might find something strange about that, as most people believe that this game is out right now. If you look on the top left there, it clearly says beta. This game is still kinda, sorta work in progress. So I'm just going to run through some of the features. I have no idea when this is coming out because I don't really know if they've given an actual release date. They've been in this beta stage for a long time. The footage you're going to be seeing is a lot of the newer stuff. They've changed quite a bit, such as modules, newer modules that are like artillery strikes and proximity things, UAVs. That's all new to me ever since the last build. I have not played this for probably a good 4 or 5 months, so they definitely made quite a few improvements. They've got a new system for their camos. The mechs are super customizable. If you know what MechWarrior is, it is basically one of the best mech simulators ever. I mean, wait until you see the footage, guys. It is really detailed, at least in comparison to a lot of other mech games, which there aren't really that many, so at least not with the same feel as MechWarrior. There's an emphasis on individual parts of your mech, a lot of customization from the armor plating to what kinds of weapons you use to what class your mech is. You can customize colors. You can customize these little things that you can put in your cockpit now if you really want to feel cool and see little, like, I don't know, bedazzled stars or something in your cockpit. I think they have stuff like that. So it's quite a bit of customization. It is on a free-to-play model, so everything that you will be buying except for mech parts, like colors and things like that, there are some basic ones that you can buy with the in-game money, but they're way, way, way overpriced. I'm talking like 2,500,000 cash for, I think it's like credits or something, for some colors. So I think that's kind of pointless. But otherwise, and the cockpit pieces you can only buy with their, you know, special premium currency. I think it's Mech Cash or something like that. It's weird. It's that little MC symbol. So yeah, it can be kind of expensive to do anything. And I guess the idea really is for you to specialize in one mech. So you're not supposed to be, you know, running around in every different kind of mech and having a giant bay full of them unless you have a whole bunch of money to just dump into this game. But the customization options are great. The combat is really smooth. They've changed a lot about the controls. There's optional controls now where you can, it's a little bit more like a first-person shooter that people might be used to, where you have, if you press W to go forward, it's going to move you forward until you let go. Before, it was the slightly more classic MechWarrior controls, where if you throttle up, it stays throttled up until you either set it back to 0 with a X key, or you actually throttle yourself down. So it was a nice way to keep yourself moving, and I'm sure a lot of the people who used to play MechWarrior will appreciate still having that kind of functionality, because that's something they're used to. You get comfortable with it after a while. But the game has been, you know, it seems like it's become more friendly to people who are new and not used to piloting mechs the way veteran MechWarrior players are used to. The graphics are also fantastic. There are a lot of AAA graphics now in these free-to-play games. I mean, it's not going to blow your mind as far as like world design, but to me, the mechs are beautiful. The worlds, you know, the maps are all right. There's nothing crazy about them. They're not super high res, but I don't know if they're working on that. There's some options they haven't enabled yet, like DirectX 11. You know, to my knowledge, they haven't put that in yet. So there's definitely room for them to grow graphics-wise, but otherwise the game is fantastic in that department, considering it's free. They've added in the factions now. There's a few different factions you can choose from. Some people choose to go lone wolf. Most people that I can tell are still lone wolf in it, but it's a good alternative to being in a faction. Factions aren't exactly like clans. They're somewhat, it's like a big group. To my knowledge, there's no real point in doing that yet, but it's just kind of there for people who want it. So I mean, maybe it's like a forum status thing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you would do it. So yeah, there's a nice little system every time you buy a mech. They're really expensive, by the way, ridiculously expensive. But whenever you buy one, you really have to
New target.
You really have to think about it and dedicate to it, and you have to realize, does it have what you want? Are you the kind of person that uses energy weapons which can possibly cause you to overheat? Are you the kind of person that wants a really, really fast mech to harass people, but you'll probably get, blown up a lot? Trust me, it happens, especially if the little mechs run into someone big enough. Yeah, you're basically served on a platter to them. For example, the mech you're seeing is a cicada, or a cicada, I don't know, it's how it's spelled, but it's a fast medium mech. I have 4 machine guns on it and an extended range energy beam kind of weapon. So it's kind of semi like a sniper with the energy weapon where it can fire from far away. It has plenty of heat sinks, which is another thing you have to focus on in the game. If you don't have enough heat sinks, your mech will shut down. You can override that shutdown, but that's a really good way of getting yourself blown up, because every time you override it, you become more prone to overheating. It's kind of like in an older set of mech games, MechWarrior, there was dumping coolant. You could dump coolant really quickly to cool your mech down, but once you dumped all of it, you could basically fire one laser once, and your mech would just be dying to explode on itself. So, not a good way to handle a situation usually, unless you're really, really desperate. But yeah, this thing is like a little harassment mech. There's bigger ones with cannons and all kinds of crazy stuff on them. Missiles, there's missile, what we call them, they're called missile barges. I think that's the last thing I heard people call them, which are basically mechs loaded with nothing but missiles. So that they're like artillery units. They just sit there and bombard people with missiles. So very prone to close range attack, but if you're far away, they will pretty much take you out without much effort. Missile boats, that's what they're called. My apologies. But yeah, game is pretty innovative as far as mech games go. It's always online, so it's only multiplayer. There's no single player, but anyway, no one cares for single player MechWarrior games to my knowledge, so that kind of solves a problem. Don't have to develop a single player, so they can focus on multiplayer being amazing. Game has a lot of potential. Hopefully when it's fully released, it will be a little bit more affordable. It's the only thing I kind of have a gripe with. It's kind of expensive, but otherwise, fantastic, fantastic addition to the MechWarrior line of games. And I hope you guys enjoyed the footage. If you enjoyed the preview, please like the video, and if you enjoyed my commentaries, please subscribe. Thanks.